this is just going to take a second.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, there we are. Wait, is Brenda here?
No, she.
Oh, it's weird. It's like when Zoom, I guess when YouTube showed up, it's like an old meeting. Okay, got it. So I don't see where I can let Claire in.
So
everyone, happy New Year.
On the attendees.
Happy New Year.
Participants.
So yeah, go to attendees.
Thank you for joining.
Oh, looks like you have a YouTube.
And then
Playing in the background.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Ready. All right. It is 12 o'clock on the dot.
No.
Mrs. Martinez, would you mind calling?
Okay, messed up. So if you go to attendees, you should be able to highlight the name and then promote to panelist.
Yeah, so let me go to participants then, because that's.
Yeah, so there's
I see it.
The attendees. Yeah, then click on. So Tanya and Claire, you can let them.
Yeah. Promote to panelist. Okay, Tanya's here too. So
Okay.
Are you ready for me to unpause the recording?
Well, I don't see our committee members on yet, so let's give them a minute to get on, and then we can unpause the recording.
Okay.
Looks like okay, time's
Oh, one more. Tanya's gonna try again.
Hey, good morning.
morning.
Hey, and Justin, you know what? Do you know like about how long for my presentation? And the reason why I asked is because I forgot I have that meeting at 9:30 with the we didn't know if it was still going to be on, but it is on now for the FOU.
Okay. Yeah, we shouldn't be that long. I mean, it's kind of 15 minutes. I would expect. So I would anticipate that we're done by 9:30. But if you need to jump off, I can take over, and Aaron can finish up any questions they have. We get our find my phone, and we can text the.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well,
Sorry, I'm a little late, guys, but my wife has COVID, and
yeah.
Sorry
I was
to
going
hear
to test to see if I have it as well, but I forgot all about this meeting.
Busy morning for you.
Yeah, it has been.
Need to also check with Director Sudeth. Don't see her on yet.
Let me text her and see what it's up.
Okay.
Okay, I see us on YouTube, so that worked.
Hmm. All right, I just text her.
Okay.
Let's see if she makes it. She says she's dialing in now.
Yeah.
Looks like we got
Good
everybody.
morning. Yes, we are. We're all here.
All right. So let's get this meeting started.
All right, we'll
Roll
have
call.
Yep.
Justin, you want me to start?
So, yeah, Kate, go ahead and start and do that.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm
Good morning.
Kate Gibbs. I'm substituting as the clerk this morning. So welcome to the August 8th Finance and Administration Committee meeting. And I'll call the roll now. I think there's just two of you.
Yeah.
Vice President Sutter
Yes, ma'am.
and Director Alvarado.
I am here.
So we have a quorum.
All right. Next item, please.
So the next item is the minutes, to accept the minutes of the May 9th, 2022 Finance and Administration Committee meeting. I think we need a motion to vote on those.
I move.
Sure.
So moved.
Okay, great, thanks. Motion passes. This, the second agenda item, job specifications. This is an item to review new job classifications related to the Water Quality and Resource Recovery Department reorganization. I believe there's a presentation, but there's a staff report and attachment on your agenda. Justin,
Okay.
did you want to introduce the item?
Recording in progress.
Sure. Yeah, I will introduce the item. So good morning, Chair Alvarado, Director Sutter, Justin Level, Director of Administrative Services. So the item today is we discussed it briefly at our May 9th meeting about the Water Quality and Resource Recovery Department reorganization. We're going to we now have our draft job specifications that are ready for review that were attached to the staff report. I'm going to turn this over to Tanya Williams, our Senior Human Resources Analyst, to give us a brief presentation on the reorganizational structure. And then Aaron Weiner, the Director of Water Quality and Resource Recovery, is also here to answer any specific questions you may have. Okay, Tanya.
Great.
Okay. Good morning, Vice President Sutter and Director Alvarado. As Justin stated, I have a PowerPoint slide. So I am now going to share my screen and then we'll get started with the presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so as Justin stated back in May 9th, Aaron came to the committee and gave a brief overview of some of the restructuring that we're planning to do in the water quality unit. So, division, sorry. So now I'm going to, I just have a brief presentation of what that would look like.
Okay.
So currently, this is the current WQR organization. We have the director, we have currently 2 operations managers, a maintenance manager, laboratory manager, environmental services manager, and we have 6 lead operators / shift supervisors. They're one in the same classification with the same duties. We also have senior maintenance tech, instrumentation technician. We have a senior maintenance tech. We have actually 2 of those 2 positions. We have a laboratory analyst 1 and 2, where the positions can be flexibly staffed at either level, and an environmental compliance inspector, 6 plant operators, a maintenance instrumentation tech, and 5 maintenance techs, and 1 utility worker. So this is the current organizational structure, and we are moving to go to this structure. So what you see is in the green, we are adding the classifications of operations and maintenance manager. We are wanting to reclassify the 2 maintenance into operations managers. And then we're also on the yellow, we're wanting to open recruitments to fill operations supervisor and 2 maintenance supervisor classifications. The senior environmental compliance inspector, we're looking to reclassify the current inspector into the senior role and add another position into that classification. And then on the previous slide, this count used to be 4, and you'll see once we go to the next slide what the changes will actually look like and how they translate. But this is the current structure that we're looking to move towards. So if I go to the next slide. So with the reorganization implementation, as I stated before, we're looking to take 2 operations managers and reclassify them to operations and maintenance manager. We're also looking to take the lead operator shift supervisor, where we had 6 FTEs, and we're looking to do an internal recruitment, and we're looking to take 2 of those lead shift supervisors and turn them into operations supervisor. And then that'll leave us with 4 lead shift supervisors. For the maintenance manager and the senior maintenance technician, which are vacant positions, we are looking to open a recruitment and fill 2 maintenance supervisor positions. And then from our senior maintenance instrumentation technician, which is a vacant classification, we are looking to use that position to create a senior environmental compliance inspector. And that's the end of the presentation, and wanted to see if you had any questions or if you would like for me to go back to any slides. I'm open for questions.
Tanya, I just want to jump in there really
Okay.
quick, just to just make sure that, so what we're doing on this proposed change is we're going to keep the total position count the same. So there's, so our intention is to maintain the existing 31 positions within the department and just restructure, which classifications those 31 positions go to. So just wanted to highlight that, and then we're open to any questions about the restructure.
Is there any impact on the budget here?
Yes, yeah, this is approximately once based on the proposed, the estimated new salaries, it'd be about an additional $79,000 a year for these new.
That's not bad. Vice President Sutter, any questions?
Yes. Does this address the question that came up at the last board meeting about from the union rep about salaries and positions, etc.? Does this, and it was something about salary surveys, etc. Does this, and I know you guys periodically do that, but does this take into account what was mentioned?
This restructure, we just looked at the new positions for the salary surveys. So we did have a consultant conduct salary surveys to determine what are the right salaries for the new positions. The union was referring to there's a couple positions that were not part of the classification, but that were reviewed 3 years ago that they were, I think they were specifically referencing. So those are not addressed here, but as we mentioned at the board meeting, at the end of the meeting, that we are committed to conduct a more organization-wide compensation survey to address those classifications that the union was concerned about.
No, and I maybe I'm not clear. No, I understand she was talking about those specific positions. What I'm asking maybe is a little bit different. I'm saying in consideration for what she was saying, what you're asking for, if you go back one screen, Ms. Tania, this reorganization, does that take into account the essence of what she was asking for? So when you gave us the presentation at our last board meeting, we were talking about right sizing the organization, and Lisa mentioned that. Lisa mentioned that in response to what the union vice president mentioned, Lisa said that, Miss Lisa, the GM, mentioned that part of reorganization that was happening over the last 2 years took that into account. Is that we've done some reorganization internally over the last 2 years. We've done some right sizing. We've done some position shifting. We've done some reviews of positions and salaries along the way over the last few years. That's taken that into account, not irrespective of those two positions. And so what I'm asking is, does this reorganization, this proposed reorganization, does this fit into that description that Lisa was talking about, and that we're going to be asking the full board to approve? Now, do you understand my question?
Yeah, I believe I understand the question. Yes, this is taking into account a lot of those issues that I think that are addressed.
Okay, so I believe, and Director Alvarado, follow me on this. I believe that needs to be stated very clear, because I'm following you here, and there's a small typo under the second bullet on the new one. It says internal instead of internal, Ms. Tania.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So I think that needs to be mentioned and made very clear in the meeting when we bring this forth to the full board, that kind of research and back study for right sizing the organization has been taken into account, so that we don't have those kinds of comments coming up in the board meeting, Justin. Because I know that hearing that was a little tough to hear from the union, as if that wasn't done, and we shouldn't have the general manager have to explain that.
Right.
The general public and the union should already know that was the impetus for making those positional changes, and that's a continual. I mean, I like how you came backwards and said, or came behind it and said that we're doing continual improvements throughout the organization. But I do think that that's a good lead in to the discussion, is saying that we're doing continual improvements, is that we're constantly looking at positions, that's what Ms. Tanya was talking about, right?
Yes.
Is that continually looking at the organization from within and from without to make sure that this kind of right sizing is occurring, whether it's a position, name, duties, because it's not just changing the name. We're also looking at the duties to see, do we need a senior maintenance instruction technician, or do we really need an inspector, right? And we evolve throughout time. Maybe we did need a technician 5 years ago, but now we have found that the way we're looking at water, the way we're looking at our relationship with EPA, with the way climate degradation is happening, we have found that in 2023 to 2025, we need a compliance inspector. So I think that type of conversation is necessary and needed for not just the union members, but also for the public. So the public understands we're not just changing titles. There's a backstory behind it. And Aaron, I think that's where you come into. Is that good? You guys follow me?
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
I think that does make a lot of sense. That follows exactly what we've been doing, as you know, how Aaron started evaluating his department and figuring out what are his needs now, right? I think that does make a lot of sense. One piece I do want to just mention, I don't think we were that we really mentioned here is one of the changes that we're going to recommend for the full board is, with several of our classifications, we're looking for ways that we can be more flexibly staffed. So as a person comes in at a, not entry level necessarily, or say they're coming in at a, plant operator, that there's a pathway for them after, a certain amount of experience and that they meet the certain qualifications that they can promote into a higher level position. So we're looking to do that with the plant operators. We're going to propose to do that with the environmental compliance inspector, as well as with the maintenance technicians. So to be able to have that flexibly classed, just like what the board approved with the CSO division last year. So we're looking to do that as well.
Good.
Aaron had his hand up, Director Alvarado.
All right. Well,
Yes.
let's get them in.
Thank you, Director Stud. And I'll keep it short, but I think I hope this will help a little bit in answering your question as well, on top of what Justin mentioned. This has been an iterative process. What you're looking at here isn't what I initially proposed. We've been talking about this for a year, going back and forth, maybe even over a year. And this is what we landed on. So this is part of that right sizing process that you mentioned. It's like I said, it's taken a year of back and forth and coming up with this as our final recommendation.
Good. So just one more thing. I think that I know what you guys are doing, and Director Alvarado knows what you guys are doing. And even I believe the other directors know what you're doing. The staff and the public doesn't know the backstory. And so, like I said at the last meeting, I think that doing a better job of filling them in on what you're doing and why works, right? And Ms. Kate, this might be where you come in telling the story. I just think that we need you to do a better job of telling the story. So this is where the communication comes in, right? We know why it's happening. And I think that the confusion comes in is when they don't know why. Why do we need 2 maintenance supervisors versus a maintenance manager and a technician? Because somehow manager sounds like he's up here versus 2 supervisors, right? And so why are you changing that? Why are you changing from 6 lead operators and shift supervisors to 2 operation supervisors to 4 of the lead operators? What's the backstory? Why are you doing it? And I think having that conversation, but also publish it. Tell the backstory on why we're shifting that way. It's not the same plant. It's not the same operations as it was 5 years ago, 4 years, not even 3 years ago, pre-pandemic, right? So Aaron, you know this and you know it intuitively. And I'll just say this really quickly, and David will know where I'm coming from. Sometimes we say things, especially in our heads, or we're saying it in Spanish, and we think everybody knows what we say. And so you intuitively think people understand what you're saying, and you're looking at them and like, why are you looking at me that way? Because
Right.
you're speaking in another language, and we don't know that we didn't translate it properly to the other person who's having the conversation. So sometimes it's just as simple as breaking it down to the people who we want to understand exactly what we said and making sure they understand the backstory and our rationale. And as a scientist, I've just found out that, I mean, I didn't just find out, I just find that it's easier if I speak in a language that the recipient understands. Being here in Washington, I'm telling you, the last few days has been extraordinary. Watching this IRA bill get passed and just watching them debate and finally get it done, and just watching I call it finagling. It's not really negotiation, but just watch it get going back and forth. And part of that is the communication and just watching the other people, what you say versus what somebody else hears.
Right.
Does that make sense? You guys?
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
understand. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think that's this what I would like. Sir, Chair, I do. I make a motion that we move this to the full board. I recommend that we approve this to move forward to the full board with those few minor changes, the correction, the spelling correction, and also with the recommendation that we have more robust explanation. That's it. Sorry.
Sounds good. Everybody get those? Does anybody need any more information from Vice President Sutter?
No, I think it was very clear. Thank you. We'll have that. We have our direction.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much for that. Next item, please.
Did we need a second on that, or I guess we're not, do you have to vote to push it forward, Justin?
I think once she made it, we're good.
Yeah, I think this is sufficient from the motion.
Yeah,
and
we're good to go.
the
We're
approval.
both
All
on the
right.
same page.
Yeah.
Okay, pardon me. The next item on our agenda this morning is matters from members of the board. Reports on issues or matters pertaining to the work of the committee. Do either of the committee members have anything to present this morning?
No, since this is actually my first meeting, I believe.
Welcome. Me too.
Vice President Sutter, feel free.
No, I'm spending your money wisely here and traveling over here, but no, I'm pretty good. I think I'm good. I'll have a report when I get back. But yes,
You still in DC?
I am. I'm flying back this afternoon.
No, okay.
Yes.
Have a safe flight.
Thank you so much. I did want to just have one more caveat. I just think that
Sure.
anytime we have any of these reports from you guys, based on our last conversation at the last board meeting, it's just good to have this background information presented in our board meetings to the general board, but also any public that may be watching. It'll be helpful.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
That's it, madam.
So that's the last agenda item besides number 4, which is adjournment.
Our
So
favorite.
this meeting is adjourned at 9:28 a.m.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Have a
Sounds
good day,
good.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye, Miss
Have a good
Claire.
week, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Ending
Bye.
meeting. Okay. Justin, I'm
All
gonna
right.
stop recording and, okay,
We're done.
all right,
Thanks, Kate.
thanks. Bye.